Waiting. You are now live. Hello. Happy Saturday, my beautiful, radical, radiant women. Hello. Happy to see you all here. I know this is like an impromptu Saturday live. Now, I have all sorts of things on my plate today. However, all of me has been called to be here. And here we are, right? Because sometimes we have to do things before they make sense. So here we are. No lights, not fully dressed. Yeah, no face, no nothing. We just came. I listened, right? I listened and I followed the instinct. So we are here, my friends. So hello. If you're catching me on the live, I didn't shut my curtain. If you're catching me live, drop in, say hello, say hi. Let me know that you're live. I know I've been having I've been having, it looks like yesterday, I believe it started, having a little technical issues with seeing that people were on live watching and seeing comments and things. So actually what I'll try to do because of that, because you got to live and you learn, right? Okay, perfect. I want to see this here. Okay, perfect. So I just pulled up my phone just to make sure that I can see videos, see comments if people comment. So say hello if you're watching. Say hello. If I know you, then hi. How are you? I hope you're doing well. If I don't and you're new to this community and you're new to the group, welcome. I'm happy to have you. My name is Shelly. I am the lead host and coach of this group, and I'm happy to have you here. So today, okay, while this was not planned, technically, I should actually be in a live class right now. And this is exactly why I wanted to talk to you, right? So this is kind of what spurred this. So last night, I'm like, notes today, I don't know, taking notes. Okay, so Spirit is working. Holy Spirit is activated, my friends. Okay, we're activated today. So besides the fact that I've had some things that have shifted, obviously, with my schedule. And seriously, Kat? Sorry, ADHD. Okay. I've had some things shift with my schedule. And then I have this, and I felt called to be here, right? So I'm feeling activated and I needed to show up. So whether you watch this live or you're here, say hi, drop it in the comments that you're here. I would love to know your thoughts as we're going through this. But I have a message for y'all and I just needed to share it. And I took some notes and I kind of structured it a little bit, but based on some of the things that I've experienced this week, how my schedule has shifted, some of my clients that they're going through, different things. I'm in a challenge right now. So there's a few things going on. This is the last week of January, right? So I'm in review mode. Every end of the month, I'm in review mode. And today we're now 1st of February, second month of 2012. 2 out of 12, my friends. Okay? This is it. This is the start of it. Okay? So because of all those things, it led me up to this. And I should be in an in-person class right now. And last night I have... Blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. Like I said, I just wrote notes and I said, we got to do this. We got to go share this. So we're working on it. Okay. So bear with me and stick with me. Okay. So I, as like a side gig, I host nights at like local bars and local places, whatever, local venues. And I do music trivia, music bingo, feud, things like that. And last night I go and there was no one at the bar. That's not my job, right? So I go and I only get paid half the amount, right? So if you think about this, most people are relying on their salaries, right? Because I decided last year to go all in on my business, things have been very, very different, very uncertain, very like we're rolling with it kind of things this last year. However, when jobs like that get canceled or they all of a sudden I get half the money that I'm supposed to get, that can be triggering for some people. And in the past, that would have really stressed me out. Now, today, this morning, actually 2 o'clock, my in-person class was supposed to start. So I was hosting a class for the first time ever called The Power of Connection, and an in-person class in Port Jeff in New York. If you're a New Yorker, shout me out, Port Jeff, right? You know what Port Jeff is. So there's a building, a wellness building there that I had collaborated with a friend of my son, his mom, and her center to offer this class to her audience. And sadly, no one signed up. And there's a whole slew of things to that, but it's okay, right? However, I'm supposed to be there right now. That was supposed to be a source of income for me right now, right? So last night and today, those both should have been sources of income for me that I would have been relying on. And one got halved and one got canceled. So I got nothing, you know? So it's, these things can be very like concerning for people. And if your job said, hey, you're doing half a shift today and they sent you home, and they said the next day, oh, we don't even need you, you'd start to get concerned. How am I going to pay my bills, right? So this is why I'm bringing this up, because this is something that typically would start to make people kind of like, oh my goodness, right? And start to get nervous. So I wanted to come on and speak to this and speak to, sorry, I'm grabbing notes. No, don't end the live. I hit something. Oh my goodness. Okay, no, don't end the live. So grabbing other notes because y'all, I'm rolling with it. Holy Spirit has got he's got the reins, my friend. Got the reins. So let's see. Where was it? I wanted the wording. Ah, yes. Okay, so there's that wording. Okay. Okay, so we're talking about this. We're talking about how this can be very triggering for you. So maybe you might not necessarily have a situation like this in particular, but maybe you're dealing with something like a relationship where you guys are fighting, you're arguing, you're on the rocks, things aren't going well. Or maybe you and your parent relationship, right? Your kids are fighting and you're fighting and they're misbehaving and they're not doing well and you're struggling back and forth with them and you're overstimulated and you're yelling and whatever that situation might be, right? We all have our things that we're currently dealing with, right? Because that is life. Life is going to give you challenges and trials to make you stronger, to build you up, for you to learn lessons, for you to keep moving, right? That's how it works. So whatever you're struggling with at the moment, okay? My question for you that I want you to think about is, how will you live in the meantime? How will you live in the meantime? In the meantime, meaning during these really shitty days, on the hard days when you don't want to get up, on the days that your jobs cancel on you and you all of a sudden don't have the money you were relying on. When all of a sudden you ask your kids something nicely and when they freak out on you and they yell at you and they slam the door in your face and you feel disconnected from your children. What happens when someone tells you they don't want to be with you anymore? What happens when there's so many I can go to. You have your thing, but how will you live in the meantime? And the question, there was a series that I had watched who posed it, what will you do in the meantime? And you can pose it either way. But how will you live in the meantime? Because I was driving home from that job last night. And I could have very well let my stress and anxiety take over and let me spiral, right? So the thought comes from, we're getting this feeling like, okay, I got to leave. I got to cancel. I just drove out here a half hour. I wasted gas, my time, my resources to get here. Now I'm not getting paid what I was going to get paid. And I could have let all of that spiral. Now on the 30-minute drive home, I could have spiraled and thought about, okay, well, that $25 was already allocated to a bill, but now I don't have it. So now I can't pay that bill and I can't do this and I can't do that and I can't do this and I can't do that. And I can start the cycle. Our cycles sometimes are very strong, my friends. Tornadoes, wind, storms. They get that momentum and they just go. But we need to be that calm in the storm. And this is why we're here. Because the first pillar that I love to teach is raising our awareness. So how will you live in the moment? In those moments where things are hard, where you don't want to get up, where you don't want to do the thing, when they're not being very nice, how will you live? How will you show up? Who are you going to be in those moments? Because the question comes down to a little further. Are you allowing all those circumstances to be your happy? If we continue to allow outside circumstances determine our happiness, we will never be happy. And if I don't live in the moment, meanwhile, in the meantime, then I don't ever get to live. Because I don't get to live when I'm 60. Y'all see some 60-year-olds out there, right? No offense to anybody, right? 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds, it doesn't matter. It could be, honestly, I've seen younger people who don't live their life because they're too wrapped up in the circumstantial happiness and not taking action and not doing anything about it and just hoping and praying and wishing that something is going to happen. And one day, poof, my fairy is going to just show up. I'm here to tell you, maybe it's a little hard truth, but they ain't coming for you. You got you and you got God. And that also depends on your faith. That's my faith. You get to have yours. Universe, source, whatever you want to call it, whatever your spiritual is. That's fine, but do you have it? Are you connected to it? Are you trusting in it? Are you moving with it? Are you taking action? Right? How will you live in the meantime? Because as we start to raise our awareness, that's the first pillar of my frameworks, right? So if you've never heard my frameworks before, I have the I Am framework. This is what I teach in my programs. This is what I teach in my coaching, everything. The first pillar is awareness. We have to raise our awareness, where we are now, where we want to go. When we start raising that awareness and noticing, things get iffy, y'all. Life gets lifey. Things start happening. We start noticing, and it gets uncomfortable. It does. I get it. It gets overwhelming. It gets emotional. It gets all the things. I get it. But this is the point. Because without the awareness, without noticing it, we never do anything about it. And we put all of our power and all of our happiness and all the circumstances around us, not realizing that the true happiness and the true power come from within, and how I'm living in the meantime while all these things are happening. So I want y'all to think about this. And the reason I wanted to get my notes is because we talked about this on day 1 of our challenge, or day 2 of our challenge that we had done. I don't know if anyone in here, I know some of you came, but I want to reiterate this. Right? Because as we're raising our awareness and things start popping up and emotions start happening and things start falling apart and all these different things start happening and we're noticing them now because we're paying attention, we have to learn and we have to start making sure that while we're recognizing, we're also regulating. Right? We're regulating and then we're responding and releasing. Right? So when we talked about this in the challenge, we talked about recognizing, regulating, and releasing. But I want to add that to releasing and responding, right? So we're kind of adding on to that 4 R's. Instead of it being a 3R process, the 4R process. Matey, are you ready to fight the battles and the storms that are coming at you? Because you got to be ready. And if you're not the one readying yourself, no one else is going to do it. So guess what? You're just not ready. And worrying and stressing and having anxiety and panicking about everything is not getting you any more ready. Let me say that again for you. Worrying, stressing, panicking, and living anxiety, living in the future, none of those things are preparing you more for the situation to come. They're actually just stopping you from preparing. They're stopping you from being prepared. And whatever you want to call it, the devil, the fear, the this, whatever it might be, it's winning. And we got to stop letting it win. Because you were put here because you were a powerful creator and you're meant to make a difference. But when we do that, I'm getting ahead of myself, I'm going to come back. I'm getting ahead of myself, I'm going to come back. Okay? I'm going to come on back. As you're coming in, please say hi. My computer says nothing. I have no idea. But if you're here and you're watching, please say hi. So, what I'm talking about is how are you going to live in the moment? How are you going to live in the meantime while your circumstances aren't all the best, while your circumstances are changing, while people are being shitty, when things are getting canceled, when the world seems to be going crazy right now? I get it, y'all. I see it. I'm scared too. There are so many things out happening in the U.S. right now that I'm terrified of. But I also have to think about my life. Last night, those jobs getting canceled. Today, the job getting canceled. These things are real things. Life is gonna life, my friends. But how will you live in the meantime? Why I talk about my frameworks and talking about raising your awareness and noticing and recognizing is because that's the start of it all. We have to start here. I am is the basis. I am what? I am not anxiety. There's not a picture of me underneath that, right? You might be anxious. You might be feeling those things. We get there. We'll do that. We'll deal with those things. However, first we have to recognize, we have to notice and raise our awareness and make sure that once we start noticing all these things, maybe they're not going so well. Maybe there's some great things, but maybe there's a lot not going well. We got to regulate. We really got to regulate ourselves, right? We have to be that person who's going to regulate our bodies. We're going to breathe. We're going to really breathe, right? And do the belly breath that I teach, right? And really breathe into our belly. And we're going to process and we're going to feel and we're going to just regulate the hell out of ourselves during these times. And once we regulate, right, we're recognizing, we're regulating, and then we're either responding or releasing, right? And this might shift too, right? At some point, I might end up adjusting this a little bit, right? But you need to release whatever you need to release. Let things go that you don't need to hold on to, that you're not required. It's not your job. It's not your opinion. It's not your focus. Let it go. And then respond. Respond from a place of calm, not the storm. Let the storm settle. You're now the calm in the middle of that storm, and then you regulate, and then you respond from that place of calm, not from the storm. That way, your response you can be proud of. That response, you can say, I responded in alignment with my values, and I did the best that I could in this moment with the information that I've had, and I took a step. Or I showed up, or I supported, or I did something. Now I get it. When we're living in the meantime of things and circumstances are not what we hope they are, things get overwhelming, and I understand that. And that was one of the biggest challenges that I lived with for so long, is that I just got so overwhelmed. I'm an ADHD mom with an ADHD kid, with a husband who has ADHD and anxiety and all his things, and my family has all kinds of things. We all have all these kinds of things, and I can point the fingers at everyone else every day, all day if I want to. However, that just leaves me holding a lot of those big finger things. I'm like, go team, right? I'm just holding a lot of those, pointing them everywhere else. And I'm just like stumbling, holding all these fingers that I'm pointing at everybody else. But at some point, I got to put them down. Yeah, I'm overwhelmed. However, I got to put the fingers down. And I got to start to recognize what I'm actually feeling. I stopped feeling overwhelmed when I stopped saying I was overwhelmed. And actually started articulating when I actually started articulating how I felt. I'm overwhelmed is a very vague thing. It's like, I'll see you soon. No, you won't. You're not making any plan to see me. You're not going to see me soon. I'm overwhelmed. By what? I don't know. All the things. Okay, let's get specific, my friends. Because when we're living in the meantime and those circumstances are shifting and changing and they're not so great, if we don't get specific, that storm just stays. It just keeps coming. It's just storm and clouds and smoke and fog, and you're trying to clear it out and you just don't feel like you can ever clear it out enough. Because we're not getting specific, right? We got to get more specific about things. I can't tell if anyone's watching. It looks like some people have come on, but hi, say hi. We got to get more specific. So if you don't want to feel overwhelmed, first of all, stop saying it. Recognize that you're feeling that way. Feeling a lot of things right now. I'm feeling overstimulated. I'm feeling all kinds of my body. What's the sensation? What is happening right now? Right? Recognize it. Call it out. But then we have to regulate. We're going to take some deep breaths, right? Hugging yourself, squeezing yourself. Oh my goodness, the energy that it does. I know it might look weird. I don't really care. I've hugged myself. Give yourself a nice big hug. Breathe. Then we release and respond, right? We release what we don't need to hold on to and we respond. In this facet of getting specific, now that I've calmed myself down, I've released some of that energy. I can say, okay, why am I feeling this way? Oh, well, I guess I'm nervous about my bills. I guess I'm unsure, uneasy. I'm nervous, I'm uneasy. I'm a little stressed about this. I'm anxious about this. And then start naming the different types of feelings that you're feeling. I'm actually a little angry that they canceled and I wasted my time. Acknowledge it. We've got to acknowledge it. That thing keeps saying internet connection. This one's not saying that. I don't know. This was not supposed to be long, but hey, we're going with it. Recognize, okay? There was a moment where I was incredibly overwhelmed in a moment, and I was supposed to be going out with my son. And when I stopped to really think about it, I noticed, right? I recognized, oh, I'm feeling like this because of these subconscious thoughts, these thoughts that are going on, even though I'm doing something over here, these things that are happening back here are making me feel this certain type of way because I'm thinking about, one, we got to go, we got to head out. Then when we get there, he's going to ask me to buy things. And right now money is tight and I'm not going to be able to give him the things that he wants. And I'm going to have to say no to him. And then he's going to be disappointed in me. And all those things is what adds up to the big cloud of overwhelm. Right? But when we get specific and we start writing it out, just write it out. Get a list. If you're feeling overwhelmed like that, just start writing things out. What are the things that are coming up in your head? What are the thoughts? What are the feelings? Start getting specific. Start writing them out. I don't care where you are. Text yourself. Use a notepad. Whatever you need to do. Start writing it out, because when I did that, I was like, oh, well, I'm just nervous that I'm going to be a bad mom. I'm afraid I'm going to be a bad mom because I have to say no. And I'm afraid that he's not going to love me anymore. Because I said no to the bounce houses and the toys and the things. And I'm disappointed in myself because I can't provide and I can't bring him to this festival and have a great time, even though that wasn't the point. The point was to go to a free car show and just have some fun. Oh, that was the point. Just to go to this free event and just spend time together. And once I start breaking it down and being like, oh, okay, I see you. All right, let's get realistic here, right? We break all those things down. And then I started thinking, okay, what can I do about this? I don't even really want to go now because I'm so stressed out about it. Oh my God, and now I'm freaking out and I'm yelling at him to get ready and I don't want to yell at him. We're supposed to be going to have fun. What is this? Right? We get caught up in the meantime. How are you living in the meantime? Because in that moment, I'm yelling at him to get ready and stressing out to go to an event where we're supposed to just spend time together and be happy together. But I'm losing that right now. We're not connecting right now. So I said, enough is enough. I wrote all the things down. I started processing and I was like, okay. I see it. I get it. I feel it. Okay, Dom, come here. I called him down. I'm like, let's talk about this. I'm like, I'm feeling a lot of things right now and I really just need to talk to someone about it. Can we talk about what we're going to be doing today? And he's like, yeah, of course, mommy. Kid was like 5 at the time. Love my son. I'm like, so I really want to go. However, money's tight and I'm not going to be able to buy you toys and buy you food and buy you the bounce house thing and buy you all this stuff. And the fact that when we get there, I want to be able to, but I know I'm not going to be able to. I only got $5. And I'm like, so I want to go and I want to spend time with you and I want to have fun, but I don't want to feel like this. And I'm like, so I just wanted to let's talk about the expectations of when we go and what are you expecting to get out of this event when we go. And we had a conversation, y'all. We connected and we talked about these things and I brought to him how I was feeling. He was like 5 at the time, literally. And you know what he did? You don't have to get me anything, mommy. I just want to spend time with you. And he hugged me. He said, I love you. You're the best mommy. I was like, I love you. Oh my God. Right? I'm like, I love you. And I was like, oh. And all of a sudden, just like the weight lifts and we don't feel so heavy. And I'm like, okay, I feel so much better. I'm so glad we talked about this. Me too. He's like, I'm going to go finish getting ready. I'm like, okay, me too. And I finished up what I was doing. And I was like, all right, now I'm excited to go again. I got $5. He got a big, one of those gigantic, it looks like a lemon. It looks like a half a lemon, the drink. That was the thing that he chose to spend. I was like, I got $5. You can have it. You can spend it on something. And he got it on the lemonade. Like, okay, it's your choice. And we had a conversation. We connected. And we forget about how important it is to connect these days. And that's why I was so excited about this class today, because talking about the power of connection, because there's so much power in connecting with people. for ourselves, for them, for the world, all of it. However, it didn't happen. And I could spiral and I could let that freak me out the rest of the day today. But instead, I let it inspire me. So, how are you living in the meantime? Are you letting the shitty circumstances allow you to feel shitty and live shitty and then not feel so good and cuddle up and curl up in a ball and then yell at everybody and not feel good? Are you letting the evil win? Or are you letting it inspire you and drive you and pull you to your future? Because I didn't plan on doing this. But I'm here and I'm showing up, and why not? And I hope that out of all the women that are in this group that you hear something that triggers you in a good way, that stirs you up in a good way, that you're like, oh, yes, it inspires you in some way to go do something different, to feel a little better, to feel a little lighter, to be a little nicer, whatever it might be. And I hope that it inspires you and shifts something in your day, in your week, in this next month. Or maybe it just says, hey, I'm going to invite someone in here because they need to hear this kind of stuff too. I would love if you invite people. Invite them if you think that this kind of stuff is good for them, because no one should have to live in that dark place. I understand how it feels to be there. I understand how it feels to have everything fall apart, and it feels like everything is just going wrong, and everything's getting canceled, and everyone hates me, and no one loves me, and no one cares, and shit's falling apart, and I'm losing my house, and I'm losing my job, and we're just all these things. I get it. It's so heavy, and it's so hard to hold alone. But when you have a community who can kind of hold you behind it and lift it off of you so that you can breathe, and then we move it together, and then we put it down, and then we rebuild, right? Because things got to fall apart. Things got to be torn down before they're rebuilt. And if you never heard me say this before, it's true. I'm a firm believer in God. And every time I'm like a little nervous to ask for something, because I know when I ask for something that something might get torn apart in the process of getting there. However, if I want to build a really big Lego house, I might have to destroy all the little ones I made to use all those pieces to make the big one. Right? You see houses in our area, anywhere you might live, you see them destroy the old buildings so they can build up new ones. They take down all this stuff so they can rebuild it in a new way. We're no different. It's not fun, right? Because we have feelings, right? Because we have all these things in the meantime that we have to deal with while things are getting destroyed, and we're like, oh my God, what is happening? My life is falling apart. I've had my life fall apart so many times, I can't even count. And it's almost taken me out twice. And you can allow it to take you out. Or you can allow it to push you and pull you forward into what you're truly capable of, into what you're really meant for. You can allow it to make sure that it's saying, nope, I've got you. I'm pulling you. Hold on to the rope and keep going. You got a choice. That's the beautiful thing about us being humans. We have our mind, our will, our bodies, our flesh. Like, we have this being, and we have the power of choice. I know some people in this group deal with confidence. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because we have to live courageously in order to feel confident. I didn't build my confidence to where it is now without taking some courageous action, without doing something completely different, something completely crazy, sitting at places by myself, going to workshops, dancing up and down. I have a workshop playing upstairs right now that I'm supposed to be in there, but I've heard it 30,000 times. So I'm like, it's okay. I will watch the replay. I will get in there. However, I get uncomfortable. You got to have courageous moments, because those courageous moments lead to you taking courageous actions, and you having those courageous actions lead to you building your confidence. I was bullied my entire life. I did not come with confidence as a default setting. I was always the chubby little girl with fat hair, with curly hair. I was the fat girl with curly hair who was a lot to deal with because I had ADHD at the time in the 90s. We were like, what is this? You just need to sit down. Confidence was not a thing that God was like, I'm going to give you that. Nope. It's a skill that we have to build, and we build it through living courageously, taking courageous action, making courageous decisions. So the question really is not just how will you live in the meantime, it's what do you want? What do you want? Well, I want it, and you can start listing all the things. Are those things things? Are they the things that we circumstantial say, I have to have the house and the white fence and the husband and the this and the this and the this and the this and the Prada bag and the new iPhone and the new this and the new this and the new this? Or is what you really want to feel joyful, to feel happy, to feel loved, to feel like you belong, to feel like people care about you, to feel connected to people? Because they are very different things. But if you're not clear on what you really want, it's going to be hard to focus and follow. Now, I say focus and follow because obviously we need to plan. We need to have an idea. We need to have a vision. And we all follow something. My church says it all the time. We all follow something. And we think it's great to follow God. You get to follow whatever you decide you want to follow. Right now, I am full in Follow. Literally, I'm in a Bible study group called Follow. And I'm getting baptized in March. I am following, my friend. But we got to focus and follow. Focus and follow. And take those little steps. In the meantime, right? In the meantime, while things are, picture a staircase and the building around it's falling apart. It's being rebuilt around you as you're taking the steps up this staircase. But it's dark because things are hard. And you only got a flashlight. You can only see a little bit ahead. Now I can definitely make the choice to try to jump 20 feet and try to jump those stairs. When I was little, I'd run up the stairs like 3 or 4 steps at a time. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm so good. Now I'm like, whoa, chill on that. But you only got a flashlight. You're going up these stairs that are dark. You're going up dark stairs. I want you to visualize this. Like literally take a moment to just kind of close your eyes and visualize yourself in a dark building with a flashlight. Click. The building's falling apart around you, but you're going up those stairs. And as you notice the building falling apart, you also notice it rebuilding at the bottom. And you're like, what the is happening? This is life. And we're going up those stairs, and I can only see a few, and I can take a real big leap to try to get to level 2, but it's pretty sure because, I'm just a mere human, I'm probably not going to be able to make that jump. And if I do, I'm going to smash my face, and I'm going to back down. Or I can also choose to try to do it. Maybe I get the pillowcase this time, or the pillow, and I slide back down to where I was at. Have a little more fun on the way. Because that's how I'm living in the meantime. Instead of and then tending to my wounds as I'm trying to get back up again. I'm taking the lessons, I'm grabbing my pillow, and I'm sliding back down to level 1 where I'm supposed to be. Because I tried to jump too far too fast. And I need to take a step back. Because my flashlight only lights up a few steps at a time. However, I can see those steps. And if I continue doing that, I can see the next few and the next few and the next few. And amazingly, I can turn around and be like, whoa, I've gotten so far. I can complete the journey this way. Your headlights only light up so far, but you can get to your destination, can't you? I did a 14-hour drive to North Carolina back in November. There were some of those roads on I-95. Have you ever driven I-95? If you're in the U.S., let me know. I hate it, but it is what it is. Especially when you get down south, there's nothing. And it's dark. And I always have to do a lot of the driving, so my fiancé doesn't have the greatest eyes, and that's okay. But I can only see so far. But I'm trusting that the road is going to be there. The road is going to continue. That's my faith, right? And I'm going to drive at a pace that is safe for our family to get there. And sometimes I need to put on the brights, and sometimes I need to take a break, and sometimes I need to yell at him in the back and give him some snacks so he shuts up, right? There are things we're going to have to do in the meantime, my friends. So what are you doing in the meantime? Are you focusing? Are you following? Are you clear on what you want? Are you recognizing and regulating and responding and releasing? When the storms come, when things get nailed down, right? Destroyed, right? When the storms happen, the buildings get knocked down. I'm trying to just like formulate how I want to say this. Because honestly, no matter what you believe in, maybe it's a God thing, I don't really know. However, I definitely believe that universe has a sense of humor. So does God. It's all one to me, okay? It's all connected. It's all the things, right? So we can have that conversation another day. However, I do believe that when you're trying to do something, you're going to stub your toe. You're going to get wood in your hand. You're going to clip your finger, right? You're going to cut something wrong. You're going to mess up. There's going to be things that try to stop you, right? Along the way. There are going to be, are you sure you don't want to come over here? It's a little easier. We already have a building over here. Just come hang out with us. You don't got to worry about rebuilding that. Don't rebuild it. Just come hang out with us. Life has a funny way of testing you. Because you say you're willing to do anything. I'll do anything, not feel like this anymore. And then something happens and you follow the old path. Or you say, it's just too hard today. I don't feel like it. And you do nothing. And then the test is like, well, I guess she doesn't really want to do this thing. All right. I'll go away. And then shit continues the way it continues. And you get stubbed toe and you get this and you get that. And all the same things happen again. And you're like, but I thought I asked for this. Well, I sent you this and you said no. You were too tired that day. You didn't feel like it. Well, I sent the model of the new building back to the people who made it. Because there's an architecture to this world. And the builder is above us. And he sends down the plans. And then you look at the plan and you're like, this plan doesn't make sense. Send it back. I don't want it. Through my notes. And then things don't get built. And things start falling apart. And then we wonder why things are falling apart. Because we didn't take the notes. And we didn't start fixing things and repairing things and tending to things and shifting and changing things. But we expected all of a sudden there to be a treasure at the end. There are gonna be, and some people will call it spiritual warfare. Right? The devil's trying to hold me down. I believe in evil. If you live in the US right now, you see that there is some crazy things going on, and I am not having that conversation here. However, I believe in evil. Oh my God, there was this woman commenting in like a local, our school's local community, and just her picture, I was like, oh, I feel demon from you. That's neither here nor there. But I believe in it. So when we try to shine, someone's going to try to snuff out the light. Right? When we try to build up something new, someone's going to come and say, do you have the permits? They're going to question you. They're going to challenge you. They're going to try to break you down. Well, you can't do that because this, and this. That's not going to work here. You need this permit. I'm going to go get the permits. What do you mean? It's going to test you. It's going to see, what do you have the balls? Right? Can you hold it? Can you handle it? Because you want all these things, but if I were to give them to you tomorrow, you'd be so freaking overwhelmed and unregulated and overstimulated that you would go cry and do nothing with it. And that's a waste. So be mindful that when the storms come, it's because you're making changes and things are going to fall down, but you get to rebuild them up the way you want them. But you got to learn how to sometimes build on the way up. Build the boat on the way down. I don't know. Build. right? We got to learn. We got to get those skills to do it on the way down sometimes. Grow your wings on the way down, I think they say, right? And in those moments, we pause, we praise, and we pray that He will give us, or your guidance system will give you what you need to take the next step, to build the wing, to build the tool, to do the thing. We have to have just as much faith in the plans as we do in our faith and ourselves and in the process of. So I did not expect to go 40 minutes. And this kind of ended up replacing the class that I was supposed to do. Who knew? So how will you live in the meantime? Are you going to let every circumstance outside of you, every situation, everything that happens is neutral? Everything else comes from us. That's why I always start with I am, with we are. From in here, right here, is the start of everything. Raising our awareness. Making sure that we're recognizing, regulating, releasing, responding. Making sure that we're focused and following. And that in those moments when things are happening and bombs are getting thrown at us and things are falling apart and people are being nasty and all the different things that are happening, we are going to pause, we are going to praise, and we are going to pray for our next step forward so that we can just do the next best thing, because I can only see a few steps ahead of me with that light on, and that's all I need to do is the next few steps, the next few steps, and the next few steps. And when I look back, I've come up the entire thing and I've rebuilt a whole new building, and oh my God, I'm standing at the top. And then I get to like be excited. And then I get to turn around and go, oh shit, there's another staircase. And that shit's falling apart at the meantime. And then we do it again, and we do it again, and we do it again. And that is the beauty of being alive, my friends. It's a process. It's a path. It's like a never-ending river, but it does end, right? When we're like old, right? So what will you do in the meantime? How will you live in the meantime? Will you take our 4 R's? Well, I don't know. I'm gonna tweak that one because that's a new one. Not new one, but the acronym is new. So I'm gonna take that and work with it. Yeah. I feel complete. I feel better. Holy Spirit is deactivated. Thank you. And it's like, okay, now you need to like go eat. You gotta go take care of your body. You gotta go in your class and hang out with your son and chill. And we're gonna make cookies today and hang out and all the things. So sometimes, my friends, you gotta move before it makes sense. Most often, honestly, you gotta do the thing before it makes any sense. I had no intention of coming here today and doing this. However, I hope that whomever hears this, I hope that it activates something in you. And I hope that you get to choose to shine bright AF. Shine bright AF. That's from the first round of our challenge. Shine bright AF. And know that, yeah, people might come and snuff you out. But you get to choose how you respond. Last night on my way home, I could have been spiraling, like I said in the beginning. But I was at a red light and I was like, this is kind of what it's all about though, isn't it? I get to go home an hour earlier, see my fiance and my son, hang out with them. I didn't really want to be there anyway, you know what I'm saying? I kind of got what I wanted. And I was like, I could sit in this mindset of, oh, it was canceled, and now I gotta drive home, and what am I gonna do? And I could have sat there, and I could feel the tension, like getting aware of our body, right? Recognize. Oh, I'm like, at the red light, I dropped my shoulders, and I took a deep breath, and I released the tension. I was just like, all of a sudden the music that was on the radio clicked, and I was like, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. I get to just enjoy the rest of my night, friends. Oh my God. I get an hour or two to myself. I'm going to drive home. Going to have a good night. I got to work a little bit while I was there on some other things. Now I get to just drive home, enjoy the ride, and have a moment with me to dance. And I get to go see my babies, see my fam. And I get to go have a good night. So how are you going to live in the meantime when the circumstances aren't what you expected? And they might necessarily be your happy moment. What are you going to focus on? How are you going to follow that next step? And how are you going to live? I hope that this stirs someone. I really do. I truly hope that this stirs someone, that this message was specifically for someone. If y'all are seeing this, if there's anyone here, I don't know if it's seeing anything, but if you know anyone who's struggling, stress, anxiety, they're feeling stuck, they're feeling overwhelmed, they're feeling all the feels, and they just don't know what to do anymore, and they're just fucking over it, and they're just tired, being tired. I get it. Please invite them to the group. Invite them. Send the messages to them. Say, hey, come here, because things are going to be changing. I'm going to be finalizing some things today, and there's going to be more support in here. And I'm hoping that we can get some more people in here so we can change some frickin' lives. Because when one rises, we all rise. I love you all. I hope you all have a beautiful weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Have fun. Live amazingly today. I am rooting for you. Comment below. Questions, comments, any of the things. Drop everything that's coming up for you. Drop it below. Allow me to help you. I invite you to open up here. This is a safe private group for a reason, and the women in here, if you all knew the stories that I've heard from all these beautiful women in this group alone, y'all are so strong and so capable and so worthy of so much more than what you're dealing with, than what you're settling for. Come in here, get open, get involved, comment, questions, drop the comments, drop the questions, drop all the things that are triggering you that you're like, ew, I don't really like her anymore. Drop it down below because we're going to talk about it. You don't have to like me. I'm going to be honest. I'm not here for you to like me. It's cool if you do. It's a nice bonus and we can be like friendsies, right? Let's be friends. My goal is to change you, is to help you shift, to help you see that you deserve so much more, to help. My job is to light you on fire in a good way, in the best possible way, to light you up so that you then can go light and you can shine your light to other people. It's our job to be the light while we're here, my friends. You don't have to like my light. You're more than welcome to not be here if you don't want to. But I'm assuming that if you're here for a reason, and there's something that you were like, she makes me uncomfortable, but there's something I can't help but watch and hang out and be here anyway. I meant for you, and that's okay. Be here, get involved, comment, let me know how you feel about this, let me know all the things. Invite your friends that you think are going to really benefit from this. Please, I would love that. I would love to grow this group. I love you all. I was not planning on this long thing, so I'm going to go. My coffee may be cold, but I also like iced coffee, so it is what it is. I love you all. Have a beautiful day. I will see you on the other side. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you later. Cheers. Believe in yourself.